Welcome to Let's Be Well Together podcast. We're your wellness check-in team. Join us each week or when you can. We enjoy exploring wellness concepts and reminding you to make time for wellness.
This is episode 118.
We hope our territorial acknowledgement improves allyship with Indigenous people within a reconciliation process. We're on the Haldimand Tract, located on the traditional territories of the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge the presence and traditional knowledge, laws, and philosophies of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new week on the Let's Be Well Together podcast. It's Elise Seifert, and today I'm joined with Julie Wilson. Hey, Julie.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Today, I was hoping we could continue a conversation that we've had previously. So in two previous episodes, we've talked about an article entitled 31 Ways to Reduce Waste in Your Home. This article is featured on BuzzFeed, and it's written by Danielle Healy. It was published on August 13th, 2023. We've already gone through the first 20 ideas in this article on ways that you can reduce waste. Today, I'm hoping we can focus on items 21 to 31.
Sounds good.
Item 21 is a tablet-based refill cleaning kit. This features tablets that can be cleaning tools such as mirror cleaning or glass cleaning or all-purpose cleaners. It comes in a tablet form and you mix with water. Item 22 is a bamboo toothbrush. Item 23 are liquid hand soap refills, along with easy-to-recycle paper-based cartons. Item 24 are biodegradable food wraps that can be made from cotton or beeswax. Item 25 is a real grass potty pad for your dog. So instead of using the potty strips, this is a pad of real grass that you can use in your home for your dog.
And number 26, toothpaste tablets. Instead of a tube, these are small little tablets that apparently you pop in your mouth and use your bamboo toothbrush with. Number 27, reusable shopping bags. And I don't know about you, but I can't leave home without it. These days, it seems like every store now requires you to bring your own bag from home, which is great. 28, glass straws. 29, plant-based sponges. So it's a biodegradable alternative and it comes compressed. And once it's exposed to water, it pops up like a washcloth. Number 30, now this is really interesting. It's a 3-blade all-metal razor that apparently lasts forever. Now it's not cheap, but they're claiming that this lasts forever. So
unbelievable.
And number 31, a shampoo bar. Similar to what we've done in the past, tell me one product that you may have used, and then tell me one that you would like to try to use.
Of course. So I know one product that I have used in the past and have really enjoyed using are shampoo bars. So this is shampoo that comes in a bar format, and then you just lather either directly on your hair or in your hands, and it really lasts a long time, I find. I used it when I was traveling. So I was backpacking for 5 months, and I knew that the backpack that I was bringing with me might be going on planes as a carry-on. So I wanted to really reduce the amount of liquids that I had just to make the process a little easier. So I had a shampoo bar for the entire time, as well as a conditioner bar, which was great. And it really made it a lot easier to travel with. And it lasted the whole 5 months. Honestly, I think I had more left over at the end. So it was a really great product.
So cool. I was going to ask you about conditioner, but you answered my question because I was like, okay, shampoo I can get. Conditioner, I find that really interesting that it comes in a bar form as well.
It does. And I know I have pretty frizzy hair. So for the conditioner to work well on my hair, it's a good thing. It's definitely a good praise. So I would say the conditioner worked really well. And just seeing it in this article really reminded me that it's something I should look into using again.
I certainly would do that, especially for travel, right? As you said, it really reduces that, space, taking up space, but also the liquid.
And then in terms of a product that I'm interested in using, I would say there are a lot on this list that I would love to use. One that I have looked into in the past are the refill cleaning kits using those cleaning tablet solutions. I think it's such a great way to really reduce the amount of waste that you use because you would be reusing the same spray bottle every time. And instead of disposing of large plastic bottles each time you're done with your product, you would just have to dispose of the small wrapper with the tablet. I think that's just such a great way to reduce waste in your home.
And talk about for small spaces, saving room. You often are talking about in small places or apartments, where do I store some of these bottles? Or you'd like to buy refillable bottles, but you just don't have the space. Now with these tablets, they take up little room. I think there's a lot of bonuses for that, for sure.
Definitely. I know I'm always interested in shopping at Costco, but I have a very old home and we have very limited cupboards and closets. So I am looking for a lot of different solutions to kind of solve that. And I think this is a great one. It'd be much better for my storage.
Yeah.
How about you, Julie? What is a product that you enjoy using and what is one that you're interested in using?
Interesting. When I was reading through this list, the liquid hand soap caught my eye because I was at Bath and Body Works, I would say probably a month ago now, and they have started with refillable bottles, so glass bottles, no longer plastic bottles, so glass bottles you can purchase, and a 1 liter carton, refillable container, paper. Now, they don't have very many of their soaps. They're, I guess, doing a trial run, right? But they have maybe 3 or 4 of their products, and they're selling these refillable bottles and the soap. And I jumped on it right away. I said, this is awesome, because I'm constantly frustrated with how many bottles you go through and you have to throw it out. So I was so happy walking away with that.
I am so happy to hear that because I know I love Bath and Body Works products, but that is my biggest complaint is that I go through a lot of bottles and it seems very wasteful. So I'm so happy to hear that they're jumping on that reduction piece.
So hopefully, if this is just a pilot, it continues, that it's successful. I can't see why it wouldn't be. Saving money, saving space again, and reducing your waste. What I would like to try, I did have a dog, and I think probably in some past sessions I've told you about my dog. We had to put our dog down last July. That was very sad. But what piqued my interest in this list was that grass potty pad. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I got a new puppy, I'd be so interested in trying something like this. I love natural products. Having this real grass pad in your house, that's fascinating. Whoever came up with that idea, I think it's great. And it talks about neutralizing odors, which you're always concerned about with any kind of, whether it's litter or pee pads or whatever in your house, you're always concerned about odors. But apparently this neutralizes the odor better than any pad or fake grass could.
It's phenomenal and such a simple idea that I don't know how I would think of it, but so obvious.
Right?
It's such an obvious idea, but I would never think to do it.
Exactly.
And I love this could be a great solution for people who live in apartment buildings and maybe aren't able to get out as much, or even to put out on your balcony at an apartment building. I think it's a great solution.
Yeah, yes, that's true. You know, individuals in condos and out on the balcony for sure.
I just can't believe how many incredible ideas there are in this article. So the article again is 31 ways to reduce waste in your home. It's found on BuzzFeed. And I love that it has links to all of the products. I think that there are so many amazing ways. And I do really believe that the best way for us to change some of the products that are out there are by supporting positive products. So by changing my consumer habits, I think I can make a difference in what products are available. And I really hope that a lot more of these products can be found more readily available in stores.
Exactly. And I think I told you that I already went out and I bought, it was one of our earlier sessions, and we talked about the laundry soap tickets, and I went out and I bought some, and I'm very happy with them.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. So all great ideas, and hopefully we can find some more someday.
Guests are giving their time, expanding our minds. Today's interview is in the category of wellness in general. I like to bike all over, but I have not tried motorcycles. I rode on the back a good number of times, but I've never learned to drive a motorcycle. And today we speak with Mike Farkas, who enjoys spending time on his Harley Davidson. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, how are you, John?
I'm great. So we know Mike because he talked about photography a little while back. Mike Farkas is the owner and lead photographer for G3 Designs Photo Video. He has 15 years in business. He's a driven and dedicated photographer that truly looks for the beauty in the details. Mike, I've seen this site many times. I'm in a meeting or I'm at a party and I'm chatting with a few friends and somebody mentions a motorcycle trip. And then one person in the group gets this very relaxed expression on his face and smiles. It's as if they know something I don't know. So let's explore that. What got you interested in motorcycles?
Well, I've been riding dirt bikes and stuff at a very early age. My dad bought us little dirt bikes and stuff, and we grew up in the little town of Wainfleet. We just started on these little tiny 50cc kind of Hondas, and that just grew out of control over the years. Now I'm in my 40s, and that's time for a big boy bike, right?
Okay. And did you enjoy it right from the start?
Absolutely. And it's exciting. It's fun. And when you're growing up in the country, going fast, and I have a brother, and we would get up first thing in the morning when the sun came up, we'd be on those bikes until the sun came down, with only exceptions for fuel.
Were you riding around the fields or riding around roads? What were you doing?
Yep. Out in the country, there's a small village of 5,000 people. So we could go on the roads, nothing but country fields. So we would go all through the bushes, down by the water, down by the lake, everywhere those two wheels would take us.
And at what point did you move from a dirt bike to something different?
Well, I ended up getting my full motorcycle license in my mid-30s. And then it just evolved from there to different bikes, and you trade up and you sell this one, buy that one, sell this one, buy that one. And it's just a constant trade up, like we discussed with my business. My business took a lot of my time. The business took a lot of my energy, so I didn't get a lot to ride. Now, as I'm 15 years in business now, I'm taking a lot more time for my health and wellness. And so I got back into the motorcycle life, and I haven't regretted a moment since.
Have you always been a Harley Davidson fan? Are there other bikes you like? And if you're Harley Davidson, how did you get that bug?
Well, I really fell in love with this Honda Shadow I had. We chopped it down. We got it all lowered and cool, bobber style, it's called. That was a super reliable, and it was just a great bike.
Just to interrupt you for a second, you know what? You just sprung a memory for me. I had a friend when I was in high school and just after high school. He absolutely loved his Honda Shadow.
It's an amazing bike, and a Honda motor is a Honda motor. That thing will never stop.
Right.
So, but as we were going with the health and wellness thing, it's, being a photographer, I am constantly attached to some sort of a device, whether it be my phone, my laptop, and my editing software, or my cameras. It's always digital. Everything is digital. I'm constantly sticking my nose in a screen. The motorcycle gives me opportunity to disconnect completely. There's only me, my hands on the handlebars, my eyes on the road. My phone, my emails, my messages can't catch me.
Do you just go out and go where the road takes you, or do you have destinations in mind? How does that work?
Most of the time, I just go where the wind takes me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just let it go based on, okay, I have maybe 5 hours. So I'm going about 2.5 hours that way.
Right.
And then I know it's going to take me 2.5 hours back. Right. So especially places, down by the water, find those curvy roads out by the shores of Lake Erie are beautiful to ride. And the scenery is stunning.
I assume then that you're doing it during daylight so that you enjoy the scenery?
Absolutely. Night riding, I do as well. If, my days have been busy and maybe I just need to clear my head a bit. So I will, on occasion, ride at night. It is a little bit more dangerous, but again, it's very quiet and peaceful at night, besides for me being the noisy one.
There's lots of times in life where I enjoy if I can find something and I experience in the moment. For whatever reason, what I'm doing, I'm taking in the sights I see now. I'm feeling the wind, smelling the air, that type of thing. And in my imagination, riding a motorcycle almost forces you to do that.
That's the number one rule, eyes on the road, right? So as long as your eyes up, you're good. It forces you to take your time, take your breath, look around, as well as being a safe thing to do. It forces you to take in the sights and sounds.
Do you find that it stops your mind from spinning?
Sometimes it makes it worse.
Really? How so?
Yeah, absolutely. I find that some of the best conversations I've had with myself are on my bike.
Okay.
Whether it be about business or life, love, relationships, doesn't matter. This is where I have no other place to do but think. Again, I can't distract myself with the little things like my cell phone or my cameras or my work. I'm forced to think. I'm forced to think about all those things. And if something's on my mind, that's going to be the first thing that I'm on.
Now that you mention it, so I like to do long distance running. And I do like to go out. I often listen to music, but a lot of times I'm not. And, so you think, okay, this is time to unwind. I don't have everything. But you're right. It's almost like you can almost get in a meditative state at times too. So you're thinking of all this stuff and then you don't think of it. You're doing your thing. And then all of a sudden these ideas hit you. It's almost like sleeping on it.
And you don't even realize you do it. But
Right.
Since maybe something has been stuck in your mind for a week or a day and you've been mulling something over, and that's where you end up shutting the music off, shutting the thoughts on, letting your thoughts run away like a runaway train. Just let them go. And sometimes you get the best answers by yourself.
Are there other things that you enjoy about being out there on your bike?
Sometimes even going with friends. The camaraderie of the biking world is fun. I go with a few local friends. Every once in a while we'll go out for a ride. We'll go grab a burger or something like that. We'll grab some food on the road. And it's nice just enjoying riding with 2 or 3 guys and having a good time.
I used to live close to a diner in Campbellville, and regularly there'd be groups of motorcycle riders coming in, enjoying, relaxing, having a burger. The other thing I noticed too is when I was riding on the back with some friends, it's almost like whenever you pass a motorcyclist and you're driving, you kind of signal to each other.
Again, the biker world is, how would you put it? It's such a strong unity, right? And we all try to look out for each other. The whole waving 2-finger down, keep both wheels down, right?
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, keep both wheels on the ground.
Nice.
And it's one of those things. Same with if, there's a helmet on a bike on the side of the road, we all stop. We're all going to check out for you. I know I've stopped, just for a break. Maybe I needed to rest my arms for a minute. And, bikers stop. They say, hey, you okay? Is everything okay? There's such a camaraderie. There's such a bond between bikers that it's a really cool experience.
And what about safety? I can't help but ask because lots of people, and me included, are a little worried about the safety of motorcycles. What can you do to kind of improve that or stay safe yourself?
Well, going into riding, and everybody, of course, we've all heard the stories and stuff like that. So it is a dangerous hobby, I guess you'd call it. But as long as you're going out with the impression that everybody's out to kill you,
right?
You got to go out thinking that everybody's out to get you. So as long as you keep your head on a swivel, and do your best, that's all you can do. 90% of the time I was talking to a fighter that he said it's other people just not paying attention, especially in this day and age with cell phones, distracted driving. And it's just foolishness that people get hurt because they're just not paying attention. Usually if you're on 4 wheels, you're kind of safer. If you're on 2, it doesn't work out so well.
Have you ever taken kind of an extended motorcycle trip?
I have. I've taken not too extended, but, full day rides. My father has ridden the motorcycle his whole life as well. So it's been some nice father-son bonding moments where we've gone, 8-hour, 9-hour, 10-hour drives. And it's just, again, you spend time with dad, you enjoy the fresh air, and, you're always stopping every once in a while. And that's where some great conversation pops up, or you're having a coffee at a Tim Hortons parking lot, and you end up sitting there for an hour chit-chatting about life and whatever's going on at the moment, or, his granddaughter, my daughter, or whatever, So it's again, having that bond and getting away from all the busyness of life.
We often hear that some of the best conversations between parents and kids happen in the car or going for a walk, where you're side by side, you're not looking at each other, but you're going side by side and you're out for a while. And for some reason that kind of opens up the conversation. And that's neat. I've never considered what you've just said, that you're motorcycling together, there's that camaraderie, and then you take a break and it's not downtime. You have those conversations. Anyway,
absolutely, because on the road it's loud.
Yeah, I can imagine. So anyway, for all the reasons we've talked about, now I know why those people in those conversations smile when they hear the word motorcycle, because they've been on a trip, or they can imagine themselves being on their bike, and it takes them to a space that they love to be in. So here we are at the end of the interview, and from the last time, we ask every guest the same question. In a context where we have many areas of wellness in our life, but it's really hard to keep them all going at any given time. So we do a mini wellness check-in. So Mike, are you currently neglecting an area of wellness in your life? And if so, can you think of even one thing you could do to foster wellness in that area?
Again, I think the last time we talked, it was a similar thing, taking care of myself. And I'm always trying to improve at whether it be my health. I've been off the cigarettes, and that's good, doing good things in my life. Took up walking, 3 to 5K a day, things like that. So it's those little things, again, taking care of myself so that I could better take care of my daughter and my family.
I can't really remember why I thought the way I used to think, but I think this might be one of the answers, which is we live in a world where your car breaks, you get a new car. Your TV breaks, you get a new one. Your phone, the same thing. And everything seems so replaceable. But the bottom line is we only have one body. We have one body, and it's the only one we'll ever have. And so it's great to take care of it. So I'm glad that you're finding time to do that, and you'll hopefully reap the rewards in the years to come.
Well, that's the goal. And, rubber side down, right?
Yeah, I got the 2 fingers pointing down, keep both wheels on the ground.
Absolutely.
And thanks for your time for the 2 interviews, Mike.
Well, thank you, John.
I'm Cameron, and welcome to another installment of the Adventures of the Starving Artist. Playing a themed night at a bar with a band or solo is hit and miss. Sometimes it's a really quiet turnout. Either the theme wasn't the right one for the crowd that night, or the weather's not great and people don't feel like going out, or any other combination of factors. And other times, it's an absolute hit. It's standing room only, a sellout, all that good stuff. And this one happened to be the latter. Here's how it went. It was Saturday night, and we were scheduled to start at 9:30 p.m., we being the Shania Twain tribute band, in which I play keys, and the fiddle part on a keyboard, and the accordion part on a keyboard, and the synth parts, and the pads. I play a lot of stuff in there. But I was joined with Jayla Kirky, who is our front woman and sounds remarkably like Shania. We had Mitch Mainville on the guitar, Alex McFarlane on the drums, Alex Mastronardi, aka Mastro, on the bass, and I was on the keys. And so we put on the show, and it was the very first show we've done where every single song was Shania Twain. The other gigs we've done, if you want to think of them as sort of warm-up gigs or stepping stones to this gig, it was either 1 or 2 sets of Shania, respectively, and then the remaining sets were just other country and rock tunes. This one, like I said, was the very first fully Shania show, and it went really, really well. It was an absolutely packed venue. We were out at one of my familiar stomping grounds, the Heart and Crown in Barrhaven, and usually I play there solo, so it was nice to be there with a band. We were running our own sound, And we'd even rented a keyboard amp, which I don't usually do. I usually just play through the front of house, just to help with stage volume and make sure everyone could hear everyone else. And it really paid off. We felt good about the sound. I think all of us had a couple of flubs here and there, but considering we had a pretty rigorous crunch time of rehearsals right beforehand, we did well. Realistically, trying to get everyone's schedules to line up for rehearsal time is pretty difficult. I mean, I'm one of the busiest folks I know. I'm teaching in the daytime or interviewing or hiring or any other of my responsibilities with Rockstar. Plus, I've got my own practice to do, my own writing, and then in addition to that, and lesson plans and all that, rehearsals, and then gigs. So it's a lot. But then if everyone else in the band is doing similar stuff, it just gets crazy, trying to line up times everyone can meet. The other interesting thing is where we rehearse is the drummer's house, which for anyone who's in a band will know that that's usually how it goes, because moving the drums every time for rehearsal is kind of a pain, whereas moving the other stuff, not so bad. And the drummer lives about an hour from us, or from me downtown here, so add all that together and you can see how it's sort of difficult to line everyone up. But we managed to do it. We pulled it off. A sold-out show, standing room only, dance floor was packed. We got lots of great feedback, and all in all, I'm pretty stoked about it. From here, things get pretty cool. Next week, in addition to a rehearsal, we're going to be doing some photo shoots and other promotional material, maybe some video shots, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not great at being on camera, but we'll have fun with it. I guess I'll have to rustle up some leopard print stuff. That's pretty on brand. For now, that's all I got. A successful Shania show, man, I feel like a woman, etc. I'll let you know when the next one's coming up, and maybe we'll see some of you there. For now, that's all I've got. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a fabulous week, and see you next time.
We love our listeners and thanks for joining us. Please help spread the word about Let's Be Well Together podcast. Follow us and rate us on Spotify, Apple, Google, or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram at lets.be.well.together and let your friends know about us.
Move that body like we're meant to do.
My guest is Riley Thompson. I told her the music's funny at the start, and I can see she's almost laughing right now. I just did an interview of Riley, and I asked if she'd do a Move That Body because she says she likes to go to the gym. And for the most part, I think you said that you like to use the kind of the strength machines.
Yeah. Yep. Strength machines, weightlifting, that sort of thing.
And when it's going well, how often are you getting into the gym?
Every day. Well,
really?
No. 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Yeah.
That's amazing. From what I understand, like some people go to the gym and they have like leg day, back day, chest day. And if you're going every day, and they often like to have a day in between muscle groups. Whereas like if I'm ever going to go on a more regular basis, if I'm going to do every day, then it's kind of lighter weights when it's all body. But what's your approach? Do you have kind of leg day, or do you just do kind of all the parts each day?
No, usually every day I go as a designated part of the body. So usually it's the split I follow is a loose push-pull legs type. So one day is push movements, the next day is pull movements, and then the third day is usually a leg movement of some kind, and then a rest day, and then I revisit that.
And how did you learn which ones you liked or which ones to do? Is it just a matter of trial and error?
A little bit. I mean, honestly, I've been going to the gym off and on for about 3 years, so it's just been a lot of trial and error in terms of what works for me. I did originally start just going to the gym, doing full body movements for an hour or so, and then I'd leave. But then I slowly realized that by focusing each day to specific muscle groups, like the mind-muscle connection was a lot stronger, and I could just feel myself getting stronger that way. It sounds silly, but no. I mean, it's all about what works, right? So
no, exactly. And I'm kind of lucky because I got to interview somebody about the mind-muscle connection. Andrea Lee, she's on one of our episodes. Now,
really?
Yeah. Now, you're a busy university student, so you must be getting something out of it if you're going 5 days a week. What is it that it makes you feel?
I mean, it feels amazing being a student, stuck in front of your laptop 5-6 hours a day. It's, exhausting on your back, on your bum, on your feet. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. But even getting to the gym and just spending 20 minutes on a treadmill just makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel productive, alive, awake versus being in front of a screen continuously. It's the break I needed.
Is there a preferred time for you, or is it do you go when you can, or are you a morning workout, night workout?
I used to be a night owl. I would work out only if the sun went down, but now I have kind of transitioned out of that, and I usually go like 2-3 in the afternoon. I try to plan it around the gym schedule when I know it's dead, so I'm not going to take forever. So that's usually my peak hour.
For a long time, I was after work or afternoon. And I talked to quite a few guests, and they talked about how they like the early morning workout, and I'm a convert now. So now I don't have to wake up, like some of them wake up at 5 or 5:30. I can't do that. But if I wake up relatively early, I'm finding that getting a run in or my weights before my work day, it's fantastic. So maybe explore and see if you like it.
Yeah, maybe. I know my mom's the same way as you, so maybe I should give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, I was a holdout for a long time. So, and I think you said that you go to the gym both at university. There's one close to where you are at university and close to home. So is that something you do all year round?
I try to. Yeah, it's much easier in Waterloo because it's much bigger. I mean, it's a franchise gym, Crunch, everybody knows it. Whereas in Dunville, the only gym nearby is Grand Fitness, where it's not much bigger than my bedroom, and there's a very limited selection of machines to choose from. But since my brother and I have both gotten into fitness over the years, as well as my mom, we've slowly built our own home gym down in our basement. So it saves me money on a gym membership when I'm not in school, which is great.
Well, that is too funny because I live just over a kilometer from my Crunch where I go. And I also have
me too.
I also have a little gym in my basement. And so what I actually do is I usually use the Crunch for the treadmill because I like to run. And then at home I do dumbbells and other weight exercises. It's fantastic to hear that somebody's at university is taking time for this. I'm so glad, and I'm also glad that you get lots out of it, and thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it, so thank you again.
There's a thought. Popped up while running. I stretched my long run this week, and I think I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to start running a little bit longer on the long run. And of course, what was I thinking about? Well, Sheila is gone. She took off on Friday. She is in Europe for, I think it's 10 days. And right now she's in Portugal, and then she's heading to Italy. We actually talked a little bit about this on Flipside a couple of weeks ago when we talked about giving space for independence. Bit of a drag that she's going to be gone for 10 days. I'll be home alone. Things are going to be a little bit boring around the house, a little bit quiet. Won't be able to enjoy a lot of the stuff we do together. But what I was thinking about today was just that I think it's just so true to give space. It's more than that. It shows a personality trait. Sheila's the kind of independent person who's quite comfortable with a friend heading off on a trip, learning about new places, being on her own. I love that trait, and I'm pretty sure it's one of the things that drew me to her. I was just kind of out there running, enjoying her characteristics, enjoying her traits, and thinking about the things that make her the person that she is. It's me. Am I?
Yeah. Just let me say, flip side of the coin.
Hello, everyone. Today it's another Flipside edition with Stephen and Elise.
Hey, everybody.
Today we were hoping to continue to talk more about our experiences living in South Korea.
Yeah, we could fill volumes with this.
I think we could. And today we're really hoping to talk about the architecture in Korea and how it was very different from what we experienced living in North America.
Yeah, there were several differences, in fact.
I think the biggest difference for me was the way that things were built up rather than out. I know living in Canada, we have a lot of space. So when you build a department store, it's very large and typically on one floor. Whereas in South Korea, I was very surprised to learn that department stores are built up. So each level was a different department area. So typically you'd start with the food on the main floor, and then you'd move up maybe clothing, maybe bedding, and it would just continue building up and up and up, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, it was. And in fact, grocery stores were the same way. So what you would have is your cart, and it would be something like your produce on one aisle. And if it was something like a superstore where it also sold clothing items or home items, you would take your cart on an escalator. And then you would go up, and it's kind of fun. and you go up, and level 2 has light bulbs and toiletries and things like that. So yeah, it was just fascinating.
So different than what we're used to. And I know typically, even in places like Europe, when you're going maybe to restaurants, they're all on the main level because that's where you're going to get the most foot traffic. And then above maybe the restaurants, there might be apartments. But in our experience in Changwon, South Korea, there would also be restaurants on second, third floor, fourth levels.
That's right. So you would have something like a cell phone store that was on the first floor, and then you would have a restaurant, and then maybe something like they call it a noraebang, which is a singing room. And then above that might be a daycare. And it was just stacked. Like we were on the second floor and third floor of a building. And below us, do you remember what was below us?
I don't actually.
Yeah. So I believe that we had a few different things that were below us. And one of them was a daycare at one point.
Okay. And below our place of work, so our school. Yes.
Yeah, our school.
Yes. And business is rotated between these spaces very frequently, which was another surprise for me.
And if I remember correctly, we had something that was, it wasn't a bank, but it had to do with investments that were at least a floor or two above us in that building.
Right. So that was something I had never really experienced. And it has to do with the way you need to use space in South Korea. It's just such a small landmass with such a large population. So it was a really creative solution to solve that space problem.
Absolutely. I don't know if you ever had a chance to visit anybody that lived in apartments there, but they were also set up very similarly, but a little bit differently than we kind of do it here in North America.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So almost every home had a table, but that table was there to do things like homework, but that's not where you ate.
Okay.
So if you ever have a chance to eat in an authentic Korean restaurant, often the tables are low to the floor. And I know, Elise, you've had this experience a lot, and so have I. But in your home, you would also have that. So you would have the low to the floor table, and you would sit on either the floor or on a pillow or a cushion, and that's how you ate.
Right. And I know I had the opportunity to tutor a student. So I would visit their home once a week, and I was surprised to see no couches because they would often sit on the floor.
That's right. Yeah.
So that was a big surprise. But I know we definitely took advantage of the architecture in Korea. And one time we and a group of friends did, instead of a pub crawl, we did a pub climb. And we found a building in Changwon that had a bar or a club or a noraebang on every single level of the building. And we visited each one in one evening.
Yeah.
So a very authentic way to explore the Korean nightlife.
Absolutely.
Please remember that we're not providing advice. We hope to inspire you to work towards balance, and we urge you to consult with qualified people if you need advice. The people on the show are speaking in their personal capacities. Their views expressed are their own, and don't represent the views or opinions of their outside contacts, their employers, or anyone else. We try to get things right, but we can't guarantee everything we say is correct, or that the things we talk about will work for you. Let's be well together, and let's be sure to do that in a safe way.
And it's sign-off time. It's Sheila here with John and Elise.
Hello.
Hello. I hope you're all surprised that I'm here because I'm actually phoning it in from Portugal.
Woohoo.
I arrived and it's actually a little cold, about 14 to 18 degrees. I think it's warmer in Canada right now. Am I right?
That's probably about that.
Oh, okay. So the interesting thing about our flight is the airport is on strike for the food. So they do not provide food on the plane. So we got a voucher and we had to buy our own food. And they gave us 2 vouchers, breakfast and dinner. So with those 2 vouchers, my friend and I had enough food to last for the whole plane ride and the next day. So I've been here. Yeah. So I've been here in Portugal for 2 days now, and I have not paid for one meal.
Nice.
That's kind of exciting. Having a great time. How are you guys doing? What's new with you, John?
I had a really busy work week. It was one of my busiest work weeks in a long time. I was also committed to getting back into working out better. And so I'm stretching out my runs a bit, and I did my outdoor high intensity run. And this week I added a hill training. So I think my routine going forward is going to be one day, little high intensity, One day, something that includes some hills and then a long run. I also got back to doing the dumbbells. And it's so crazy. Every time I don't do them for a while, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be so hard. I don't want to do it. But then I do it. I'm like, oh wow, this feels so good. I'm so glad I did it. So it was a busy work week and then getting back into working out and then having to drive Sheila. So she left for 10 days, I think. So that's not perfect, but hopefully she has a great time over there. How are you doing, Elise?
I'm doing great. I had a pretty busy work week as well, but the highlight of my week was a play that Stephen and I went to at Stephen's workplace. So he teaches at a high school. And so it was a high school production of a play. And they also had a full meal accompanying the play. So it was a dinner and a meal. And the dinner was cooked by the food and nutrition class at the high school. And then the production was an audition production. And it was based on skits in an airport. So just people coming and going in an airport. It was very funny. The kids did a great job. So all of the food was international themed. So they had a lot of delicious food for us to eat. And it was a really great event. And I think almost half of the audience were actually staff members. So I thought that was really great that there's such a community there that the staff like to participate in such events.
Cool.
That sounds awesome, Elise.
It was a great way to get out and socialize and then also to celebrate the high school students.
I agree.
We're so glad that you were able to join us today, and we hope that you join us again soon.
That is it for today's show. Please try and make wellness a priority.
You deserve it.
If you feel the need to talk to someone or ask for help, please do that.
Accept yourself for the person you are.
So long.
Adieu.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.